The next company to present is Aselio. We are joined by the company CEO, Jonas Eklind. So as a brief introduction, Aselio are coming to market with a new and very exciting solution for long duration energy storage. So I will leave it straight away to Jonas. Please, Jonas.
Thank you. Yeah, and Aselio, what we do is that we store renewable energy. And we can store a lot of energy, so we can build a dispatchable system for renewable energy around the clock. But we can also do that, sorry, can you go back one second? We can also do that with a distributed approach, meaning that we have a decentralized installation in small and medium-sized installations, which meaning that we provide a system for distributed baseload fully based on renewable energy. Next slide, please. And this can be done in on-grid environment. We have now signed 3 corporations for California, but it can of course also be done in a very unreliable grid or purely off-grid. Next slide, please. A typical application for our system is when you want to move solar energy from midday into the late afternoon, evening, night, and mornings. The system we have can store any type of renewable energy, and the limitations in the system when you have fast-growing renewables is the storage and the predictability of the energy. With the Aselio system, we can store when you have a lot of energy, and we can dispatch that when you have too little, or when you look into solar energy, when you have non-solar energy in the night. Next slide, please. So the Aselio game changer is that we can, to a very low cost, store a lot of renewable energy. So we can build this dispatchable system providing renewable power 24 hours a day. And the output of the system is competitive. It has the right cost, meaning a low cost, and it's substantially cheaper than the alternatives, that's fossil fuel-based systems like DC generators or batteries. And I said in the beginning, it's also a modular solutions where we, with high volume production methods, build a standardized module. These modules bring into each project both the low cost and the 24-hour-a-day storage capacity, which gives the result that we can build small, medium-sized, and of course also large-scale projects with our technology, and having these benefits with low cost and 24-hour-a-day storage capacity. Our focus is, right now at least, the medium-sized projects, about 500 kilowatt up to 20 megawatt, but we can build it in almost any size. Next slide, please. Aselio has an experienced team, and we already have a global footprint. With a part of our technology, we have supplied commercial and industrial projects for several years, where we today have 150 employees and install about 120 systems in a commercial environment. Next slide, please. But since 2016, our focus has been on the energy storage and dispatchable renewable energy. And in June 2018, we demonstrated this in an industrial demonstrator, and we installed the technology in the field in a real developed version in December 2019. Two systems in Sweden and 2 systems in Morocco. And we have received a vast interest from the market. Today we have customer inquiries from global customers on around 170 billion SEK. And we have converted a part of that vast interest into 11 memorandum of understandings that covers today possible projects to total possible sales on around 15 to 16 billion SEK. Right now we work on the final industrialization with focus on volume production starting in Q3 next year. And we will also initiate our first commercial delivery based on this energy storage technology in Q4 this year. Next slide, please. One big task that we perform right now is verification. We have been running the technology since June 2018. We have been doing substantial component testing, subsystem testing, starting already in 2017. And we are now running the formal verification project together with an external partner, DNV, the Norske Veritas, where we have 2 modules running in Sweden. We also have 2 modules running in Morocco, but due to COVID-19 and the travel restrictions, we have not been allowed to use them for the formal verification. But the modules in Morocco and the modules in Sweden are identical, and they will give the same result when it comes to verification. So right now we are providing data to DNV, and they will finalize the bankability and verification report as soon as possible. We are also right in the installation of a third verification project based in Abu Dhabi. This project is made together with a large project developer, Masdar. There we install 4 modules of our technology. And Masdar has said that they want to include our technology in their product portfolio. But to do that, they want to run this verification project on their own in the Masdar city. And what will happen then is that they will use Khalifa University as the third-party verifier. And when the technology is verified in the Masdar project, Masdar wants to include our technology in their sales into 30 countries in Asia, in Africa, and in the Middle East. Next slide, please. And we have worked a lot with the commercial progress and converting this vast interest on the 170 billion SEK in inquiries into MOUs. And we now cover interesting markets like North America, Latin America, the MENA region, and at the latest also India. Most of these MOUs are signed with medium or large scale project developers that has a constant need of technology into their projects. And today we have signed MOUs covering 375 megawatt. That equals to a potential revenue on about 15 to 16 billion SEK. Next slide, please. Then looking into the solution. What we do is that we store renewable energy in a very cost-efficient way. And to do that, we use thermal energy storage, meaning that we store renewable energy as heat. But this heat is 600 degrees Celsius. So what we use is a recycled aluminum alloy as our storage material. So we press in energy into the aluminum alloy, and that alloy heats up to around 600 degrees Celsius. And at the same time, we force the alloy to convert from solid to molten phase. So we use phase change. And by combining high temperature with phase change, we get a very high density. And combining that with a recycled aluminum and combining that with no degradation at all, and a lifespan of the storage system of at least 30 years without any replacements, we get a very, very low cost for storing the energy. And then that energy is stored as thermal energy at 600 degrees Celsius. Then we use our technology, the heat engine, the Stirling engine, to convert this stored energy to useful electricity on demand. So we can store from the day to the night, or from one day to the other, or from 1 week to the next week, or even from 1 week to some weeks later, if you want to do that. And then on demand, when you need power, you use this thermal energy to drive the Stirling engine that converts a thermal potential into mechanical movement that runs a generator and produce electricity. Next slide, please. So one module of the Aselio system, called the test pod, consists of a storage and a conversion unit, and of course also a charging, where you take renewable electricity to drive a charger to heat up the aluminum to 600 degrees Celsius, and then the Stirling engine that can convert this thermal energy back to electricity. So this system is the distributed baseload, where you can build these systems in any configuration, starting on 100 kilowatt and upwards, with our focus on a power need for electricity on about 500 kilowatt to 20 megawatt. Next slide, please. And the important factor is, of course, the price of the electricity. Because in the power world, 1 kilowatt hour is better than the other if the price is lower. And when you look into distributed baseload, Aselio has a highly competitive solution where we outperform both batteries and DC generators. We have said that we in next year will start to deliver systems on an LCOE level of 93 euro per megawatt hour, meaning that the total cost for the power output during 24 hours a day will be 93 euro per megawatt hour, including all project costs, including the system, running the system, all OPEX, everything around the system, like renting the land, insurance, financing cost, and so on. And if you compare that to a DC generator, that will cost around 225 in a typical project. And a battery system in theory costs typically 135 if you use future battery cost and future battery performance. But you also have a technical issue if you try to charge a battery during 5-6 hours a day and discharge it on high power output for 18-19 hours to build this 24-hour-a-day system. Next slide, please. When we convert thermal energy into electricity, we also get a thermal component. The 93 euro per megawatt hour as an LCOE you saw on the slide before, that's only based on our electrical output. But we also get a thermal output around 55 to 65 degrees Celsius. And if a project can use also that component, we get a total system efficiency on 90%. But as I said before, the 93 euro is based only on the electrical component. Next slide, please. And a typical project for us is an electrical need for 500 kilowatt to 20 megawatt. And there is a need for this long duration storage where we can provide around the clock dispatchable renewable electricity. And if there is a need also for thermal power, that's of course an add-on and a positive extra for a project. Next slide, please. We have now signed several MOUs in interesting markets. Especially we have developed projects in North America and California, where we have projects in Latin America. We have some projects in the southern part of Africa, but all of them are together with Swedish project developers. And we have several projects in the MENA region and now also in India. Next slide, please. And all these projects are with product developers or application developers. So that's the business model for Aselio, that we sell technology to a product developer or an application developer that has the local knowledge, that has the pipeline of interesting projects, that normally also has the financing set up for these type of projects. They have existing customers, they have existing business models where we can integrate our technology into these projects. But of course, we can integrate our business into these partners' business and jointly sell kilowatt hours to the end user. Next slide, please. And looking into a typical customer to us is Vogt in Chile. They have since 1954 provided the pumping solutions for the Latin America mining industry. These pumps are today powered by electricity from a DC generator, meaning that it's very high cost and it also have a lot of CO2 emissions. Next slide, please. And by switching from diesel power, water pumping, into the Aselio solution and solar energy 24-hour a day, there is a significant annual saving in cost, typically half the price or even lower per kilowatt hour. And you have a CO2 reduction, typically in the project around 85 to even up to 90%. In this Vogt example, the CO2 reduction is 86%. There can be a significant possible income for the CO2 reduction. That's not included in the 93 euro per megawatt hour as an LCOE. That's also a positive add-on that can come from a specific project. Next slide, please. And looking into all our projects, the end customer is looking for cheaper kilowatt hours, and we can provide a typical cost decrease by 50%. And they are also looking for a cleaner solution where when we change DC generator electricity into our solution, we can lower the CO2 emissions by 85, 86%. But also if we replace a battery solution, we have a significant decrease in CO2 emissions, typically around 30% by going for a Aselio solution instead of a battery solution. Next slide, please. Right now, our focus is on the start of volume production in Q3 next year, where we will ramp up the volumes during next year. We will have a full industrial volume capacity in the first half of 2022, and we will produce significant volumes starting in 2022. We also have our first commercial project planned for this year, where we will initiate the delivery later now in Q4. Next slide, please. And we also have a very strong team in place, and we also have very strong partnerships in place. Aselio has today around 150, maybe even 160 employees that are very devoted and they have competence and experience from delivering these type of systems into a global market. Our verification in Morocco, we run together with Massen. And Massen is a state-owned company that has been given the task from the Moroccan government to build 52% renewables in Morocco until 2030. And to be able to do that, Massen has said that they need also distributed baseload, not only the large-scale installations they have used so far. Massen has also a task from the Moroccan government to be a hub for Africa, providing renewable energy solutions into the continent. And we have today an agreement with Massen that they will be the facilitator for our technology into 14 countries in Africa. And then we have the cooperation with Masdar, that's a huge project developer in Abu Dhabi, and they work in both Africa, Middle East, and in Asia, delivering projects that's suitable for our technology into about 30 different countries. Next slide, please. And looking into Aselio, renewable energy storage with dispatchable power 24 hours a day. So that's the basic of our solution. We have a vast need on the globe. We have today, before we have actually built our first commercial project, customer inquiries that we have looked into and that we have qualified as suitable for us and suitable for our technology to a total value of 170 billion SEK. We have the industrialization ongoing with blue chip partners. We have MOUs with 11 different interesting partners covering 375 megawatts with a potential revenue on about 15 to 16 billion SEK. And we have a setup with the existing assembly line where we now focus on start of volume production in Q3 2021. Next slide, please. And that's the summary of Aselio, where we address this urgent global need and a large untapped market for distributed baseload, long duration storage, and dispatchable renewable energy 24 hours a day. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Jonas. And we have a lot of questions coming in over the conference portal here, so I will have to be a bit selective, being a bit mindful of time here. But a lot of questions, obviously, on when we might expect the initial results from DNV or the verification, the bankability verification project that is ongoing. Any update you can provide on that?
Not more than that. We are running, we are happy, we have seen very good results, and we need to provide enough data so DNV says that, okay, we have enough, we can sign off on a report. So we haven't been given any specific date on that.
But would you be expecting something during the fourth quarter here, or perhaps within the next month, or any guidance you can provide?
Not any direct guidance, more than, of course, we would like it to have it tomorrow morning if possible. But the important part here is that, I mean, we have a traction on the market. We have a very good traction on the signing MOUs. We have our potential customers are already out selling our technology. So they are fully convinced that we will have technology that reach all parts of the specification. So they are out building a marketing material, out selling, out building projects based on our technology. And we also know that we will reach the specification. But of course, for larger projects, we need a verification report to be able to convince their financiers to provide financing for larger projects.
Yep. And a final question on the portfolio that you have now of MOUs and how you think about converting those into commercial orders here over the next couple of quarters. Any guidance on that timeline?
We have provided some setup goals on you could say our production capacity, and when starting up volume production on a new technology, the production capacity itself is the limiting factor in the initial phase. And as we now have MOUs covering more than well over 100% of what we need for 21 and 22, I mean, our capacity is the most important factor in that equation. And then we have said that we will initiate delivery of the first commercial project this year, and a second or in the first half of next year. And we will initiate deliveries of, you could say, real projects starting in Q4 next year, and real volumes in 2022. And then, of course, we need first the order and then to deliver. So that's the best guidance I can give, that the order will come first and the delivery second. So looking at our delivery plans, you can see when we at the latest will have the orders.
Yep, got it. Okay, thank you very much, Jonas and Aselio.
Thank you.